Hey, how's it going? I'm Cronroyt and I hope you're having a great day or night. In this video, I'll be reading some scary Reddit stories with some light rain and Minecraft parkour in the background. To help you chill, lock in, relax, or sleep, I will include timestamps for each story. I hope you enjoy the video. My girlfriend has been lying about her age. Me and my girlfriend have been dating for a while now, long enough for marriage to be considered. At least, it used to be considered. Now, I just have no idea. We met when I was 20 and she was 19. We recently celebrated our 3rd anniversary with a night out on the town, grabbing a few drinks and sitting down at one of those nice, fancy restaurants we'd always wanted to visit. Overall, the night was perfect. Candlelit dinner, expensive wine, typical romance with some great lovemaking to end the night. Little did I know it would be the last normal night of our relationship. I woke up the next morning with a sense of nostalgia. After the night we had, plus the idea of marriage floating around in my head, I decided I wanted to recollect together. She had been in the shower while I lay in bed, and she stayed there long enough for me to decide to reminisce on my own. At first, I was just looking through old pictures on my phone. Our first date, our first kiss, our anniversary photos. I'm a memory guy, what can I say? Anyway, as I kept scrolling, I remembered something. Back when she moved in, my girlfriend had brought a bunch of old pictures from when she was younger. She kept them in our attic, and neither of us had ever thought to look through them together. I'd show her my old pictures plenty of times, even the ones I was embarrassed of. If I'm being honest, I kinda got a little peeved when I realized she hadn't returned the gesture. I realize now that she wasn't embarrassed by the photos. She was actually hiding them from me. I climbed the ladder to the attic and I shifted through a bunch of old boxes until I found the one that my girlfriend had brought with her all those months ago. I blew the dust off the box and began shifting through the photos. The ones on top were perfectly normal. Polaroids she'd taken back at her parents' house. Some selfies with her and her girlfriends. The typical stuff. However, as I dug deeper, I grew more and more concerned. The Polaroids stopped having color. My girlfriend stayed the same, but the photographs began to look decades old. Some were of her propped up against a jukebox. Some were of her at civil rights protests. Hell, one was just her leaning up against the hood of an old muscle car from back in the day. She seemed to be looking through me in every single photo. Each photo looked grainier than the last. Her clothes changed. Her hair changed. Her style as a whole changed. Her face did not. It looked like she wasn't aging at all. I figured it was some kind of art thing, some experimental stuff she was doing. I wanted to believe that maybe she had just been using a different camera, but the numbers written on each picture were enough to make me second guess myself. 2000, 1990, 1980, 1970, all the way to the last picture with the numbers 1947 written across the bottom. Part of me wanted to laugh, but another part of me was utterly terrified, not by the pictures themselves, but by the birth certificate that dated back to August 9th, 1912. As I stared at the date, my heart sank, not by what I was seeing, but by the sound of the shower water stopping and the bathroom door opening slowly before my girlfriend's voice sang out, "Honey, you're not looking at those old pictures, are you?" My girlfriend started taking art classes. Her paintings are starting to make me uncomfortable. My girlfriend has always been a creative type. When we first started talking, it seemed like the conversation would always shift towards either sketching, drawing, or painting. I found it admirable. I loved that she had something that meant so much to her, something she could be passionate about. The more time went on, the more that passion grew. It wasn't until we started dating that she felt comfortable enough to show me her work though. I love her more than anything in the world, but good lord, I hate to say it, she was not good. Her shades were off, her lines were crooked, her portraits bordered on stick figures. Of course, I didn't want to let on exactly what I thought of what she was showing me, but I can only pretend so much. That's the thing though. Anytime I offered her advice, she'd just get so defensive. She was just so convinced that she was gonna be the next big thing in the art world. I wanted her to succeed. Of course I wanted her to succeed, but in order to do that, she just had to listen to me. I'm not an artist myself, but even as just an everyday Joe Schmo, I could still see where she was falling short. I'd nudge her, critique her in the nicest possible way I could muster, and it only led her to becoming more closed off with her work. Unfortunately, the more closed off she became with her work, the more closed off she became in general. It was like her main talking point, and here I was, feeling like an a-hole for taking that away from her. I tried apologizing to her and explaining that I was just trying to help her, but she'd just keep that same blank expression on her face. "I'll try to get better for you," that's all she'd tell me. I wanted to believe her, but it seemed like she wasn't even trying anymore. I never saw her sketching, I never saw her drawing, I never saw her painting. It created this friction in our relationship that made every situation feel tense. We didn't even argue, we'd just try and converse awkwardly before we both went back to our phones. At the peak of her withdrawal, that's when she started taking classes. She didn't seem excited about it. She didn't seem eager to be better. She seemed like she was doing it out of spite, like she was defeated but ready to prove me wrong. She'd be gone 3 days a week from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And after about a month of this, she started bringing home her work. She never showed it to me. I'd just find colorful canvases hanging up around the house, in the kitchen, in the living room. Hell, even the bathroom had a few. She had definitely been improving. Her lines were straighter, her shades were more on point. Her paintings wowed me rather than making me force out a fake smile or a "that's so good, honey." At first, she was bringing home paintings of landscapes, mountain ranges, ocean horizons, forests. Then it turned into infrastructure, castles, mansions, shacks and sheds. Then it was people, the most detailed portraits she had ever produced. Her mom, her dad, her teacher from class. I wish that's where it would have stopped. She had proved me wrong. She had convinced me. She had nothing else to prove. But it didn't stop there. She couldn't have just been happy with the progress she had made. I came home from work one day to find the first painting she had done of me personally. It had been hung up along with the dozens of other random paintings in our living room. I saw it and immediately became sick to my stomach. It was me just disassembled. My head was in one part of the canvas. My legs and arms sprawled out across the painting, with the most gruesome depictions of gore I had ever seen her produce. I heard her humming to herself in our bathroom. I approached her carefully as she sketched wildly in her sketchbook. "Honey," I whispered, "why did you do that painting of me?" Continuing to hum without even looking up from her sketchbook, she responded, just how I was feeling today," as she continued scribbling on her page. In the weeks that followed, more and more pieces began to pop up around the house, each one depicting different versions of my death. She never seemed angry or agitated. She just seemed distant but at peace, and that's the part that hurts me. She seemed to have this obsession with dismemberment. In every piece, I was dismembered in some way or another, held together by wires, forced to be a scarecrow. One showed me to be ornaments strewn about a Christmas tree. At this point, there's at least a dozen of them, but that's not the part that concerns me. What concerns me is that I've been waking up with outlines drawn around the circumference of my legs and arms, my neck and torso, like she's figuring out a design. She always denies any involvement whenever I question her. But who else could it be? Does she think that I'll believe I'm just doing this to myself? I don't know what to do. I just wanted her to be the artist I knew she could be. Alright y'all, those are all the stories I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video and today's stories. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night. Peace.